And the topic today is about forgiveness. And when I wrote about forgiveness, it was a little bit different than what you would expect. You know, the 10 steps or 12 steps or, all the different things that we go through for AA or Al-Anon or all those things. This was a little different. It wasn't so much thinking about forgiving, seeking forgiveness for things that I had done wrong, people that I'd hurt, although I had plenty of a big list of that. It wasn't either about asking people to forgive me or for me to go to them for the wrongs that they had done. It was very different. It was around the process of letting go, the sort of negative, hurtful feelings that I was paying attention to that caused me to struggle for a really long time along different topics. And so what I did in one of my chapters was go through a list of things that I wanted to forgive myself for and to let go. And not only to forgive and let go, but to turn it into something positive so that I didn't continue to only think about negative thoughts about myself. And the first one is shame, interestingly enough, and it was around body shame. And I had one of my employees was a really great dietitian, young, very young. She could have been my daughter. And people were around each other, a bunch of women, and we were all, being pretty negative about our bodies. And she said, no body shaming. It's not allowed. Your body is your body. And it was an interesting thing to think about because I had, for as long as I could remember, had negative thoughts about being too tall, being too big, being too whatever. And so it was interesting that she was, at her age, so smart about forgiving ourselves and being gentle and being kind to ourselves. So the first act of forgiveness that I had to do was to address body shame. And the way that I flipped it into a positive comment, instead of really thinking and paying so much attention to that thought that I was never going to be good enough and that I was, that there was something wrong with me, especially after I got sick and I had to, learn how to deal with this body that didn't want to work. And I had to learn how to be strong again. That was always just those thoughts were just playing in my head. I'm not good enough. My body's not good enough. Just kind of beating myself up. So the ritual or the process that I worked through was to flip that to a positive, which was I am so proud of my body that it is strong now and that it got me through a really rough time. And the fact is I beat myself up being so tired and stressed and working in a kind of a toxic environment. And I allowed my body to have to take that on to the point of being so sick and sort of giving up on me for a while. So I had to really forgive myself for that and flip it to the fact that I was very proud that I had weathered the storm for so long and that my body was so strong and was willing to kind of give me another chance. So today's topic, I'm going to go through several of them over the next few days, but today is really around forgiveness and forgiving yourself for those negative thoughts that you pay attention to that sort of keep you spinning and not moving forward. And my first one was really around shame, especially body shame. And what I did was flip it to a positive, which is my body is strong, my body is back. It is what it is at this age, and I love myself for being here. So that is sort of the ritual. You take something that you think about that is a negative thing, it's not gentle or it's not kind, that you think about yourself, and you flip it to a positive. So you're really just changing your mindset about it. So that's the first one for today. Tomorrow will be another topic that it's along the lines of forgiveness, but it's another thought that I spent way too many years of my life paying attention to about myself and what I did to forgive myself. So that's day 13, everybody. There'll be a few of these forgiveness topics over the next few days, and I just hope that you will take the opportunity, since I pointed out my first one, you'll take the opportunity to think about, if you do have some things that spin in your head that you think about, you notice you're listening to that voice more often than some of the other thoughts or voices that you have in your head. If you're listening to a negative one that's, you're never good enough, or you always mess that up, or why aren't you happy? any of those things that you just tend to pay attention to, pick them apart, write them down, and then over the next few days we'll talk about how you let them go. Because really the point is we're where we are in this moment. We can't change anything, but what we can change is how we think about things, how much time we spend on negative thoughts versus positive thoughts, which will obviously change our attitude and make us happier. So that's my life for today. I hope everybody's doing great, and I will talk to you tomorrow. I'm out.